Have you ever wondered how entire armies could crumble into dust, changing the course of history in the blink of an eye? Today, we're diving deep into the most catastrophic military defeats that left nations shattered and leaders disgraced. From colossal blunders to shocking betrayals, these are the moments that prove even the mightiest can fall. Stick around as we count down the top 10 worst military defeats ever recorded. You won't believe the disaster that took the number 1 spot. It's a blunder so massive it nearly wiped out an entire empire. Welcome back to our channel, where we uncover the most intriguing and jaw-dropping moments in history. If you're passionate about learning from the past and discovering the events that shaped our world, you're in the right place. Before we dive into today's countdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Let's get started. Throughout history, military victories have been celebrated, but defeats, those are the ones that haunt leaders and nations for generations. Some battles were lost due to sheer misfortune, others because of strategic failures, and some because of the arrogance of those in command. These defeats not only resulted in staggering losses but also redefined borders, toppled regimes, and changed the global balance of power. Now, let's delve into each of these catastrophic moments in military history, where we'll explore what went wrong and how these defeats sent shockwaves through time. Number 10. The Battle of Cannae, 216 BC. The Battle of Cannae stands as a testament to the brilliance of Hannibal and the vulnerability of even the most powerful military forces. In the heat of the Second Punic War, Rome sought to crush Hannibal's army once and for all, amassing a force of nearly 90,000 soldiers. Confident in their numbers and strategy, the Roman commanders marched their legions onto the battlefield, unaware that they were walking into a meticulously crafted trap. Hannibal, employing a double envelopment maneuver, lured the Roman forces into a narrow corridor and then systematically encircled them. Trapped and unable to retreat, the Roman soldiers were slaughtered with devastating efficiency. In just one day, Rome lost nearly 50,000 men, a loss so catastrophic that it sent shockwaves through the Republic. The defeat at Cannae wasn't just a tactical failure, it was a psychological blow that nearly brought Rome to the brink of collapse, forcing the Republic to rethink its entire military approach. Number 9. The Fall of Constantinople, 1453. The fall of Constantinople in 1453 was more than just the end of a city. It marked the demise of the Byzantine Empire and the dawn of a new era. For centuries, Constantinople had stood as a bastion of Christian Europe, repelling countless sieges. But this time was different. Sultan Mehmed II, known as Mehmed the Conqueror, brought to bear an army of over 80,000 men and a terrifying new weapon, the massive cannon known as the Basilica. Day after day, the Ottomans bombarded the city's ancient walls, which had protected it for over 1,000 years. The defenders, vastly outnumbered and outgunned, fought valiantly but were eventually overwhelmed. On May 29, 1453, the Ottomans breached the walls, and the city fell. The fall of Constantinople not only signaled the end of the Byzantine Empire but also reshaped the political and cultural landscape of Europe and the Middle East, marking the rise of the Ottoman Empire as a dominant power. Number 8. The Battle of Tsushima, 1905. The Battle of Tsushima was a naval engagement that shocked the world and redefined the balance of power in East Asia. In 1905, during the Russo-Japanese War, the Russian Baltic Fleet embarked on an arduous journey halfway around the world to confront the Japanese Navy. Exhausted and ill-prepared, the Russian fleet faced off against the more modern and better-prepared Japanese forces in the Tsushima Strait. The battle that ensued was a decisive and humiliating defeat for Russia. The Japanese, employing superior tactics and faster ships, decimated the Russian fleet, sinking or capturing 21 of the 38 Russian warships. This crushing loss not only crippled Russia's naval power but also exposed the deep weaknesses within the Russian military and government. The defeat at Tsushima was a pivotal moment that emboldened Japan as a rising military power and sowed the seeds of revolution within Russia, eventually leading to the fall of the Tsarist regime. Number 7. The Battle of Asandlawana, 1879. The Battle of Asandlawana is a stark reminder of the dangers of underestimating an opponent, no matter how technologically advanced one's own forces may be. In 1879, the British Empire, confident in its military superiority, launched an invasion of the Zulu kingdom in South Africa. The British commanders, believing that the Zulus posed little threat to their modern, well-equipped army, made a series of critical errors, including dividing their forces and underestimating the speed and coordination of the Zulu warriors. On January 22, 1879, a Zulu force of around 20,000 warriors descended upon the British camp at Isandlwana. Despite having superior weaponry, the British troops were overwhelmed by the sheer numbers and ferocity of the Zulu attack. The battle ended in a catastrophic defeat for the British, with over 1,300 soldiers killed. The loss at Isandlwana was not only a military disaster but also a severe blow to British pride, challenging the notion of European invincibility in colonial warfare. Number 6. The Siege of Vienna, 1683. The Siege of Vienna in 1683 was a defining moment in the struggle between the Ottoman Empire and Christian Europe. For nearly 2 months, the city of Vienna, the gateway to Western Europe, was surrounded by a massive Ottoman army under the command of Grand Vizier Kara Mustafa. The Ottomans, confident in their ability to conquer the city, laid siege to Vienna, hoping to expand their empire further into Europe. However, the defenders of Vienna, bolstered by the arrival of a relief force led by the Polish king Jan III Sobieski, mounted a fierce resistance. On September 12, 1683, in a decisive battle, the combined forces of the Holy Roman Empire and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth launched a surprise attack on the Ottoman camp. The Ottomans, caught off guard and outflanked, were forced to retreat in disarray. The defeat at Vienna marked the beginning of the end for Ottoman expansion in Europe and was a turning point that would lead to the gradual decline of the Ottoman Empire. If you're finding these stories as fascinating as we are, now is the perfect time to show your support. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the video, and don't forget to share it with your fellow history buffs. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. Your support helps us continue to bring you more captivating content. Number 5. The Battle of Yorktown, 1781. The Battle of Yorktown in 1781 was the climactic event of the American Revolutionary War, sealing the fate of British rule in the American colonies. British General Lord Cornwallis had entrenched his forces in Yorktown, Virginia, believing that his position was secure. However, the Franco-American alliance had other plans. General George Washington, with the help of French troops and a formidable French fleet, managed to trap Cornwallis on the Yorktown Peninsula. After a 3-week siege, with supplies running low and no hope of reinforcement, Cornwallis was forced to surrender his entire army on October 19, 1781. This defeat effectively ended British efforts to regain control of the American colonies and paved the way for American independence. The loss at Yorktown was a significant blow to British pride and marked the beginning of the end for the British Empire's dominance in North America. Number 4. The Battle of the Little Bighorn, 1876. The Battle of the Little Bighorn, commonly known as Custer's Last Stand, was a devastating defeat for the U.S. Army and a stunning victory for the combined forces of the Lakota, Northern Cheyenne, and Arapaho tribes. On June 25, 1876, Lieutenant Colonel George Custer led his 7th Cavalry into battle against a large encampment of Native American warriors along the Little Bighorn River in Montana. Underestimating the strength and determination of his opponents, Custer divided his forces and launched an ill-fated attack. The Native American warriors, led by leaders such as Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse, quickly overwhelmed Custer and his men. Within a few hours, Custer and over 260 of his soldiers were killed. The battle was one of the most significant Native American victories during the Great Sioux War, but it also galvanized the U.S. government to redouble its efforts to subjugate the Plains tribes, leading to further conflict and eventual displacement of the Native American people. Number 3. The Battle of Dien Bien Phu, 1954. The Battle of Dien Bien Phu was a catastrophic defeat for the French military and marked the end of French colonial rule in Indochina. In an effort to draw the Viet Minh into a decisive battle, the French established a fortified base at Dien Bien Phu in northern Vietnam. However, the French grossly underestimated the determination and capability of the Viet Minh forces, led by General Vo Nguyen Giap. Over the course of 2 months, the Viet Minh laid siege to the French garrison, utilizing heavy artillery that had been laboriously transported through the dense jungle. Despite their desperate attempts to hold the base, the French forces were gradually overwhelmed. On May 7, 1954, the French commander surrendered, marking a humiliating defeat. The loss at Dien Bien Phu had far-reaching consequences, leading to the Geneva Accords, which split Vietnam at the 17th parallel and setting the stage for the Vietnam War. This defeat signaled the end of French colonial ambitions in Asia and a shift in global power dynamics. Number 2. The Battle of Stalingrad, 1942-1943. The Battle of Stalingrad was a brutal and unrelenting conflict that became one of the deadliest battles in history, marking a turning point in World War II. The German Sixth Army, under the command of General Friedrich Paulus, was tasked with capturing the city of Stalingrad, a key industrial center on the Volga River. However, what began as a swift advance turned into a grueling, house-to-house struggle for survival. The Soviets, determined to defend the city at all costs, launched a counteroffensive in November 1942, encircling the German forces in a massive pincer movement. Trapped and cut off from supplies, the German army endured months of starvation, extreme cold, and relentless Soviet attacks. In January 1943, Paulus, now promoted to field marshal, was ordered by Hitler to fight to the last man, but with his forces decimated and no hope of relief, Paulus made the unprecedented decision to surrender on February 2, 1943. The surrender of the German Sixth Army was a devastating blow to the Nazi war effort, with over 91,000 German soldiers taken prisoner, many of whom would never return home. The defeat at Stalingrad marked the beginning of a relentless Soviet advance that would eventually lead to the fall of Berlin and the end of the war in Europe. This battle underscored the immense human cost of the war and became a symbol of Soviet resilience and determination. Number 1. The invasion of Russia, 1812. Taking the top spot on our list is Napoleon's ill-fated invasion of Russia in 1812, a military disaster of epic proportions that brought an end to the French emperor's dominance over Europe. Confident in his Grande Armée, Napoleon embarked on a campaign to subdue Russia, bringing over 600,000 troops with him. However, the campaign quickly unraveled due to a combination of poor planning, logistical nightmares, and the unforgiving Russian winter. As the French forces advanced, the Russian army employed a scorched earth policy, burning crops and villages to deny Napoleon's troops vital supplies. After capturing the deserted and burning city of Moscow, Napoleon realized that Tsar Alexander I had no intention of surrendering. Facing the onset of winter and dwindling resources, Napoleon ordered a retreat, but it was too late. The Grande Armée, harassed by Russian forces and decimated by hunger, cold, and disease, disintegrated during the long, desperate march back to France. By the time the remnants of the army crossed the Berezina River, only about 100,000 soldiers remained. The catastrophic failure of the Russian campaign shattered Napoleon's aura of invincibility and set the stage for his eventual abdication and exile. This defeat is often cited as one of the greatest military disasters in history, illustrating the perils of hubris and the harsh realities of war. These military defeats remind us that even the most powerful armies and leaders are vulnerable to the unpredictability of war. Each of these disasters left an indelible mark on history, altering the course of nations and empires. If you found this exploration of military history as gripping as we did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time to join our community of history enthusiasts. Hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss out on our latest content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.